Lastly, but not leastly, hey, Armadillo DS? Or do you want me to pronounce the whole thing? Armadillo Dodes? Armadillodes? We are running a workshop, and you're coming in at the ground floor of our final part of our workshop, where we're going to create some adventures that are set against the backdrop of an autumn holiday that we created in our previous night's workshops. Oh, it's funny how they handled things. The first challenge was an unattentive biker that nearly crashed into her. The players were utterly befuddled on how to prevent it, so they just leapt in front of the bike. Oh, now I need some. This is Dia de los Muertos that we're going to be celebrating here, and so I want to get some kind of haunting spoopy music going. Whoops. Apparently when I click on this, it just instantly switches to it. Mea culpa. Mea culpa. Well, I'm creating a nice playlist for us anyway. All right. I think this will do. Things just got complicated. Oh. From a simple escort mission. Uh-oh. Trust a flump, your tendrils are just... Alright, now, who is the representative that we generated to be the mascot or the spirit of this holiday? The holiday we made around him is kind of like a Day of the Dead. I like saying it, so I'll say it again. Dia de los Muertos. / Ancestor Remembrance. And also kind of throwing in a Veterans Day as a part of that. People who served, people who are a part of our family, we love and respect. And on the tail end of this, too, we're also entwining an element of love, not unlike a bit of a Valentine's Day. Because it is a Day of the Dead, however, it is also a celebration of life. And it's a celebration of the people who came before us, and those we still have, to try and learn and love and be better people. So the end of the day or the festival is more of a festival, a dance where everyone gets together. They celebrate, especially after they've already gone through, a sad time. They celebrate, they dance, they exchange lace with each other. And it is a romantic night that is supposed to celebrate life, or even lead to the creation of life, if you get what I'm saying. The hot tub suites are 50% off to help encourage the village sticking around. No, Armadillo, you're fine. Don't worry. I'm giving you a prompt, but you are already a storyteller, and by being here, you can throw ideas into the fray as much as you want if you're feeling inspired. And so we have someone who was a white dragonborn, a druid of the mountain, the distant mountain that we made through the random prompts as we were developing this character. He was a soldier, in particularly a cavalry unit, who at some point died. Of course, this has the other character be very bitter as we're developing the folklore. As he believes in responsibility, he died and is dead. However, he guides souls from death into the afterlife. And on this day of great liminality between our realm and what lies beyond, he also can fetch souls. Perhaps you can see your ancestor one last time. Maybe you can say a goodbye that you always meant to say. Even if it might even be illusion. You might not even be able to get to speak to them. But you see them in the shimmering portal, if only for a moment. While this entity, this mascot of Veilpass, which is the name of the holiday, facilitates the interaction between the living and the dead. And what was especially eerie is when we rolled up the settlement, which apparently doesn't want to come to the forefront. There we go. The weird locale of all the locales we rolled was a permanent portal to another plane of existence. And this, on the outskirts of town somewhere, is that thin space between the realms where the guide takes those that we've lost through the veil and into the afterlife. When we designed Veilpass, those are the NPCs. The point of the holidays to remember and perhaps even meet our ancestors and respectfully reflect on their lives, their ends, and ours, knowing one day we will be ushered through the arch into what's beyond. That would be the portal. Primary traditions, cleaning graves, begonia decorations, offerings left to the guide to see the family. Often an intimate time for people that is entwined in romance. Dahlias for the living. Speak in rhyme or ring your chime to call the guide to come. Though that ended up being an expression later, so I'll just take care of that. Taboos. What are taboos that we thought would be good for this holiday? No dark colors, bright colors, celebrations of life. No eating from sunup to sundown. If you don't snap your fingers twice whenever you pass another shrine, or you have to snap twice if you pass another family shrine or a grave. And on this day, you must also offer food to horses. To show them respect and love as family members and as people who are intertwined with our life and people who take the guide and also help guide our family members as they would load up on his horse to be trotted through. So horses are a respected animal during this time. Okay, Blues. Common symbols we developed, common colors. These are thematic. These are things that we can reference in the adventure. These are all good prompts. Decorations we discussed, just like we did with all of the other. This is the same list, just on different holidays. Common foods, raisins, honey butter rolls, mountain oysters, brewing yeast paste, and eggs or eel roe. Armadillo, yes. Of course, there's always secularization or distractions from the main point of it. But we're using Day of the Dead as an example, and then we're adding our own fantasy elements and turning it just a little bit different so it's unique. So that way, the real Dia de los Muertos can be its own thing with its own customs and culture, and ours has similarities, but we are working in a different sphere, so we don't need to worry about stepping on traditions or hurting people's feelings like what you're talking about. Because there's a difference. Like what you're talking about, Armadillo, is a respectful observance of ancestors. And then we have an Irish wake, which is still, in that culture, respectful of the dead. But it's celebrated much more in a liquid fashion, in a boisterous fashion, than perhaps what a somber grave cleaning for Japanese Buddhists would inter. Or practicing Catholics in Mexico. And if any of you know what I'm talking about when I say an Irish wake, I think you'll get the idea. So we also came up with some sayings. These are things that people just, pass on the street. They're things you utter under your breath when you're upset. Just common phrases around this season. We came up with 2 song titles, some common clothing, some common sense. SCENTS, not SENSE. Think to any holiday that you celebrate. What are the smells that immediately come to mind? And the reason why this is so important is that of all of our senses, arguably unless we believe in psychic, extrasensory, ESP, your sense of smell is the only one that is directly connected to your brain. And for people who suffer from memory loss or some form of dementia, often smells, well, anecdotally often, or the things that I've read, smells can still bring back memories to those who have trouble holding on to it because of that relation of scent to memory. And that's why it's important when we went through these exercises that we put scents with the holidays. It's very fascinating, Armadillo. And I don't want to sound like I'm callous towards Irish wakes. I'm not. It's just, it's different. It's different every culture, as you're talking about. So these are the prompts that we have for the holiday. And now it's time to come up with an adventure. Something is going to happen. Armadillo, thank you for the follow. All right, we haven't made a wilderness goal. So when we're talking as DMs, we're role-playing being DMs. It's very meta in this channel. Armadillo, will you please roll a D20? Exclamation point 1D20. Oh, Trustaflump, you're going to take off? Going to catch some shut-eye, crazy day tomorrow? All right, Trustaflump, we'll see you later. Be well, my friend. Armadillo lands on a 13. Obtain information from a reclusive hermit. That hermit was just saved in a prior adventure. Actually, we could take a look and we could almost find an ongoing string of adventures that have taken place over all these holidays. So, premise, obtain information from a reclusive hermit. What kind of information might we get from someone who might have a different way of thinking? Hermits often contain knowledge of, they might hear things that people talk about. They don't spread gossip, but they certainly receive it. Maybe they're ousted from town because they know something that someone doesn't want them to know. Oh, hey, Justin, thank you. If you're going to bed too, thank you very much. You're about to fall asleep? All right, Justin, before you go, I want one more roll out of you so you can leave your thumbprint on this adventure as well. What I would like you to do is roll a D20 for me before you take off. Someone is threatening Veilpass, and the hermit's going to have information. There we go. We got you can do it, Justin. All right, on an 18. A humanoid raider or ravager. Now, what this could entail, this is the same prompt for when we made the mascot for Frostfall. And if this is the case, In a prior adventure, if we had to go and actually talk to the writer has this revenge aspect. Avenge a past humiliation. As well, the villain's power is broken if the death of its true love is avenged. What if this adventure pits our 2 Dragonborn mascots against each other, as the writer might come for the guide? If we get coincidences like this, why not use it? It's organic storytelling. We're already invoking all of the folklore that we've created thus far. If in a prior adventure, we have beseeched the writer to hold off on your ride because of the invasion or the distractions, what if the writer holds off until Veilpass, such that Veilpass and Frostfall occur at the same time? During this time, when the dead and spirits and the liminality between things that are real and things that shouldn't be, and that we hope, is very thin. Because Frostfall has yet to occur, and it's already Veilpass. It seems as if the writer is going to arrive alongside the guide, and the village thinks this is a tremendous calamity. However, nobody knows where this hermit is. That is rumored to be quite ancient and knowledgeable. Now, to find the hermit, we're going to go on an adventure, and it's going to need an introduction. Oh, Sheeps, will you roll a d12, please? Stops on a 3. While traveling on a road, the characters are attacked by monsters that flee into a nearby to the nearby adventure location. When searching, ice creatures who have been forming during this built-up pressure of Frostfall not yet occurring attack the party before retreating elsewhere, guiding them after the fight to the hermit. Oh, cool. Are you still... So are you going to be up in about an hour and 20 minutes? Or do you have an estimated time? Because I certainly would love to raid you all again. Yeah. No, I know that you're LARPing because your season, you're stealing our summertime. That's fine. Y'all can enjoy it for a little while. I'm done with summer. I'm enjoying all the leaves turning colors, and it's getting a little crisp outside. To get the hermit to divulge information, the party must first, because there always is a must first. West River Rat, will you please roll a d20? I wish I had a fancy woolen frock, oh sheeps. There is a men's store downtown here that maybe I can ask him about it. Stops on a 14. Stop a band of smugglers. To get the hermit to divulge information, the party must first stop a band of smugglers who have been robbing the offerings left on the graves of the families in town. This is going to be a more complicated one. To find the robbers or smugglers, the party then, Core Mechanical, will you please roll a d8? Stops on a 3. Receive information from an NPC in the area. To find the robbers, the party then needs to find another NPC. So we front-loaded, like, we have a gatekeeper that is, you know, that this is the end of the quest, but the hermit needs to know that you're trustable, that you are able to be trusted, you're trustworthy, that you are competent, and you can handle yourself. So he's going to give you some contrived stuff to do. And if you want to get it done before this, like, mega frost event occurs, you have to hurry. So to find the robbers, the party needs to find another NPC. That NPC is, and again, let's just draw on the resources that are here. We don't need to agonize ourselves over everything has to be perfect and fit into place and machinations that span lifetimes. Everything will fit. It absolutely can. Sometimes it needs a little plot putty, but it'll fit. Yeah, but. Oh sheeps. I need you to roll a d20 for me, please. Another mysterious fae. What is Oh, sheeps, are you in cahoots with the fae? That NPC is the brownie from before. To track down the mischievous brownie, the party will need to conduct research and befriend. All right, what is an adventure ally here? Hark. Will you roll a d12, please? 7. A revenge seeker. The party will need to conduct research and befriend the unicorn seeking, quote-unquote, revenge from having its MacGuffin stolen. Hello, Carl. The brownie is under sway by Black Wolf. Will you roll a d20? Stops on a 3. A fiend bet on corruption or destruction. The brownie's held under sway by other agents of the fiends. If this is the case, that last one shot we ran through, it was a ruse so that the demons could not. I mean, if they got to channel their foul magic through the unicorn, that's fine. But what they stole from the unicorn in that by using the brownie as an agent is even more important for something else nefarious. The brownie's under sway by other agents of the fiends. They find and battle the fiends to rescue the brownie. The brownie, by Fey Pact, is obligated to help them with the robbers / smugglers. Have a good night, Black Wolf. I'm glad you're having fun. This should be fun, Armadillo. The brownie by Fey Pact is obligated to help them with the robbers or smugglers. Armadillo, or actually, Carl, you haven't rolled yet. Carl, can you roll a d10 for me, please? Exclamation point 1d10. You probably shouldn't because I'm looking at the twist table. Core mechanical. If Carl's away, core mechanical, can you roll a d10, please? Exclamation point 1d10. Carl, would you like to type exclamation? Oh, all right. Core mechanical beat you to it. We rolled a 3. The adventurers are prohibited from killing the villain, but the villain has no compunctions about killing them. No, I already got it, Carl. Thank you. I thought you might have stepped away, and so I asked core mechanical to roll. The smugglers have the goods they stole, which also include precious items to both the writer and the guide, hidden away. So the smugglers can kill the party, but the party can't kill the smugglers. Gonna go AFK? Alright, West. Alright, Armadillo. After the tactful fight, the party obtains the information and items that the hermit needed and return to him for his help. Together, they brave the journey to the place between the mountain and the arch, which is the portal that leads to the afterlife, where they can invoke a calling and parlay of the two, especially because the first one was already involved in a parlay, in order to stave off the supernatural freezing disaster. We're reaching the climax of the story. Core Mechanical, will you please roll a D12? Hey Raven, I'm here for a few more minutes. I need to go get my wife, but my toddler's eating slowly and is messy, so I have to wait for her to finish. Well, have a good breakfast then, little one. Exclamation point 1D12. Seven. Oh my. Okay. During the meeting, a portal opens to another plane of existence. Creatures on the other side spill out, forcing the adventurers to close the portal and deal with the villain at the same time. The villain and portal belong to Primus and the Modrons, who have returned after the first festival in order to control this place of liminality and set it right from all the disorder and conflict happening here. Oh, I'm sorry, Raven. Dinner. Yes, yes. And do you see how we bring this around full cycle now, back to the original adventure that had the Modrons appearing? As like, you're like, yeah, it's a whatever, it's a one-shot. This certainly won't happen again. The fiends might have been contacting Primus or working in cahoots. If they're devils and not demons, devils are orderly. They make contracts. Devils are good agents, especially when talking about an order, a pure force of order, into the more, sloppy humanoid existence we experience. They would make excellent agents to bridge the gap between the orders of Primus and what is happening in the prime material. And yeah, in core, I don't get personally offended. Look, even movies get 1 or 2 F-bombs. It happens. I'm not upset. O'Sheeps isn't either, obviously. Just for, the sake of watchability, I suppose. I just asked to keep the F-bombs down. And here we have it, everyone. If we've been leveling up with all these adventures, we have now made a full circle campaign over a course of many adventures that bring us back to the start, because now we're fighting with both brothers instead of the one originally to whom we made the deal. We, as the party, as the Big Damn Hero party, are getting to fight beside the big swinging dragonborns that are the core of the folklore of this region, in a grand battle with Modrons pouring out of a portal in order to control the gate to the afterlife, this dragon mountain, and to bring order to this very special land as an incursion. And of course, the devils were the red herrings. I mean, no pun intended, but the devils were red herrings, when in fact it was Modrons the whole while. Now, this is definitely more than a one-shot, unless you super condense things, or your one-shot's a 24-hour game or whatever. It writes itself. It absolutely does, O'Sheeps. From all of these different randomized rolls, from all of you different lovely people in chat, it writes itself by taking our time and going step by step, by accepting weird, crazy stuff, like Modrons march down the country road during a harvest festival about labor. Look at all of the ideas that this has spawned. It has spawned now natural, organically grown, free-range hermits. People who are important, NPCs in town who care or don't. It also shows that the people living in this fantasy town in our imaginations have real-life issues. They have corruption in politics. They have inter-family struggles. People make mistakes and seek forgiveness. We're also subjected to random acts of extraplanar beings. And all the while, the simple, good country folk of this area, again, we haven't named it. I know it's kind of unofficially called Apple Bottom. The simple people who live here, after coming over their own toils and strife, the dwarves being driven from their mountain home, the Lightfoot halflings facing plague and scarcity, where the two came together and worked and taught each other, and probably even fought with each other, who then developed from mountain dwarves into hill dwarves, from Lightfoot halflings into stout halflings, because they shared their techniques, they shared their bloodlines, they shared their sweat and their tears and their folklore and their values, until they were one society that's now under threat during this very holy time for them. And it's beautiful how all of this organization was born from chaos. I mean, we just herded cats, everyone. We absolutely herded cats together every night of this week. And now look at the cohesive, fun adventure prompts that we have. I mean, yeah, can you go through and stat it? How many mono drones and maybe a couple duo drones do I need to balance? Yeah, okay, I get it. We need to balance encounters, and that's fine. That's the minutia. The story is what carries the encounters. The reason for the encounters. The fight with the smugglers. The fight with the demon lieutenants. We even herded cats and got cat butt in our faces. And you got to see the one eat cheese. Welcome back, Baloo. So I hope you all really enjoyed this workshop and that you really savored just everything that we accomplished tonight together. Great amount of fun. So much creativity. Unique ideas. New twists on old holidays. Not that old holidays are bad themselves, but, we're freshening them up. We're making something that's ours. That you can run this at your table. These are your fall festivals. These aren't mine. I'm not holding on to these. Have fun with them. Good golly gracious, y'all.